Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story is a bombshell, and it's shaking headlines not just in South Africa, but all the way across the world, especially in the United Kingdom. Julius Malema, the firebrand leader of the economic freedom fighters, has once again proven why he's one of the most controversial and globally talked about political figures to come out of Africa in recent years. And this morning, he dropped a declaration so bold, so unapologetically fierce, that it's got the British establishment clutching its pearls and South Africans on the edge of their seats. Now, if you followed Malema's political journey, you already know he doesn't hold back. He's not interested in soft diplomacy, and he certainly doesn't care about Western approval. But what he said during his visit to the UK this week wasn't just a typical Malema moment, it was a direct challenge to power, privilege, and historical injustice. Let's break it down, because this one is loaded with fire. Malema, while addressing a Pan-Africanist symposium in London, took the microphone and delivered a fiery speech that sent shockwaves through the room and social media alike. His voice steady, his tone cutting, and his words deliberate, he declared that the United Kingdom still owes the African continent a massive historical debt for centuries of colonial exploitation, cultural destruction, and economic theft. But that wasn't the shocking part. The moment that left the UK, and frankly, many others, gasping came when he said, "The sun may have set on the British Empire, but the shadow of its crimes still haunts Africa. We are not here to ask for charity. We are here to demand justice. Reparation is not a request, it is overdue." That's right. Julius Malema, standing in the very heart of the former colonial empire, told the British elite to their faces that Africa would no longer be begging for development aid or diplomatic sympathy. Instead, he called for financial reparations, land accountability, and public apologies backed by material compensation. He demanded that the UK government engage in direct conversations about repaying what he called a blood-soaked debt. The crowd, made up of African students, political analysts, members of the British press, and a few stiff-lipped diplomats, erupted into a mixture of cheers, murmurs, and stunned silence. Some were visibly shaken. Others applauded him like a rock star. But no one, and I mean no one, could ignore what had just been said. And of course, the reactions started pouring in. UK commentators called it provocative, inflammatory, and politically reckless. But Malema didn't flinch. When pressed by British media afterward, he doubled down. "They looted our gold. They stole our land. They destroyed our people. And now they want us to behave like polite guests in their house. We are not guests, we are survivors of a crime," he said. This is Julius Malema in his purest form, fearless, unfiltered, and impossible to ignore. Now, let's not pretend this is the first time Malema has stirred international waters. His critiques of white supremacy, capitalism, and neocolonialism are well documented. But this time, what's catching global attention is the location and intensity of his message. To come into the UK, a nation still grappling with its colonial legacy and uncomfortable truths, and make a demand for reparations, not as a victim, but as a revolutionary leader, takes a level of audacity that only Malema can summon. The truth is, what he's saying is not new. Activists have been calling for reparations for decades. But what's different is the platform and the power of his voice. Malema isn't just shouting into the void, he's commanding international stages, speaking directly to the former colonizers with a kind of unrelenting clarity that many leaders are too afraid to use. And let's talk about the symbolism. Here's a man born into apartheid South Africa, raised in the dust of economic inequality, and sharpened by political struggle, standing on British soil, flipping the script. It's more than politics. It's a generational reckoning. Back in South Africa, reactions were explosive. EFF supporters hailed Malema as a true African revolutionary. They flooded social media with praise, calling him the voice of the oppressed and the courage of a continent. But not everyone was cheering. Critics argued that while his intentions may be valid, his confrontational style risks alienating potential allies and escalating diplomatic tensions. But Malema, being Malema, isn't here to play safe. His goal isn't to appease the UK. His goal is to awaken Africa, to remind young Africans across the continent that the fight isn't over, that their history wasn't a footnote, and that their future should never be built on the ruins of unpaid injustice. And here's where it gets even more real. Malema didn't just make demands, he laid out a vision. He called for the formation of a Pan-African reparations tribunal, led by African scholars, historians, and economists, that would calculate the damages caused by colonialism and present an official bill to former colonial powers. That's right, a literal invoice for centuries of exploitation. He also challenged African leaders to stop begging for handouts and start demanding accountability. It is an insult to our ancestors to accept charity from those who looted our inheritance, he said. The room went quiet. Some clapped. Others looked away. That's what makes Malema so powerful, and so dangerous to the status quo. He forces uncomfortable conversations. He exposes the hypocrisy of global diplomacy. And he does it with a confidence that refuses to be tamed. So, what does this mean going forward? Well, for one, Malema has just elevated the reparations conversation to an international level. Whether or not governments take him seriously, the people are listening. Movements are gaining momentum. Conversations once whispered in classrooms are now being shouted in parliament halls. And you can bet this won't be the last time Malema rattles the international scene. His message is spreading, and the demand for justice, real justice, is no longer contained within African borders. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think Malema's approach will finally force Europe to reckon with its past? Or is this going to stir more backlash than progress? Was this a power move or political theater? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get this conversation going. And if you love bold, fearless breakdowns like this one, hit that subscribe button right now, smash the like button, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single episode. We bring you the truth, the fire, and the stories others are too afraid to touch. Thanks for watching, and remember, the world may try to silence voices like Malema's, but here, we amplify them. Stay informed. Stay alert. Stay fearless. Catch you in the next one.